Hi, this is a quick short video looking at a specific aspect that I've come across several times in the last couple of years, which is a critical analysis, if you wish, of an article that is titled "The Learning Skills Curriculum, Raising the Bar and Closing the Gap at GCSE." Basically, I've always wondered in the last couple of years whether it would be more valuable to have extra lessons to teach the learners how to become effective learners, or this should be done alongside teaching your own subject at the same time. In my school, this is not an option, so I've done it in my subject most of the time. But what I've noticed in this article, which is very interesting, is that they've run a study that ranged from 2010 to 2014, and then it was evaluated from 2009 to 2017, so it's been running quite a while, in school, which had a high proportion of students on free school meals and a deprived area in the south of the UK. What was interesting is that in this study was that they took their year 7s out of lessons for a number of hours a week, up to 5 lessons a week, and the study was run from year 7 to year 11. And this instruction was conducted on the topic of learning to learn, and also looking at learning the skills for the curriculum. In other words, how to become a more efficient learner. What was very interesting, it was a whole school and complex interventions that came out by a group of teachers that were keen on doing this, and they particularly looked at metacognition and reflecting on learning, therefore self-regulation, and enabling the student to take ownership of the learning process. Also oracy and developing effective spoken language skills through reflection and articulating their thinking and learning over time. So it would hope that they would benefit from those interventions over time, which in fact they did. The study was conducted with a control group and an actual the group that was receiving the treatment, therefore the intervention. And by the end of year 9, it was noticed that there was a statistically significant 10.1 increase in the proportion of students in the learning skills cohort and not on the other one. By the end of year 11, those students received 10% more than the control group, and therefore for the students that were the most deprived, it ranged an increase of 23.3%, which was highly significant in that respect. What is the most interesting about in this article, I think, is the fact that the biggest difference that was happening between the two groups is obviously the treatment. And because the students were taken off 400 lessons of learning skills over 3 years, it means they didn't have this time for as in a subject time. So it was 400 less hours less of learning the subject, and they still performed, some of them 23.3% and some of them 10% more over than the control group that received the subject time. Okay, so it means, in effect, it means that despite the fact they were taken out of lessons to learn about learning better, they still perform better than the other groups. Because it hasn't been running on one cohort, I think it's safe to say that those are very interesting findings, that perhaps it raises the case of whether should we have some sessions or some contact time with students as teachers to talk about those subjects, enhancement programs, or rather interventions, in order to help the students to learn how to learn. I think this article is very interesting. I would strongly encourage you that if you're interested to read a little bit more about it, it's in the Impact magazine for teachers, autumn 2018, and issue number 4. It's an article by James Mannion, Kate McAllister, and Neil Mercer. I will post it in the link below. So leave your comments below and tell me what you think. It will be great to have your take on that.